doing something a little bit different. We're from Kentucky. Well,
you're from Kentucky.
I'm from Kentucky. I was born in Louisville, Kentucky. Randy's right across the river, but Derby is really important.
We're both right across the river now.
Well, regardless.
You're a Hoosier now.
Sure. So Derby's actually really important to our community. And, well, there's some board games that kind of go with the theme. And so we're kind of excited to share them with you guys today. So I think the first thing that we're going to end up talking about is one that has to do with horses, but definitely animal racing.
There's a common theme across almost all these. There's some form of movement of the horses that is triggered by, or animals, that's triggered by dice or cards or what have you. And then there's a betting element to it.
Right, because we're talking about Derby.
And generally, you want large numbers of players to be capable of playing, because if you're hosting a Derby party, you want to be able to include everyone.
Yeah, and the other piece of it as well is that it is, when you're betting, if there's only 2 people betting, it's not as much fun as where multiple people are getting in on the action. So there is that little bit up. Now, the first one that we're going to talk about is a goodie. It's kind of on the young. It's definitely kid friendly.
Well, yeah, and we've ranked these from Board Game Geek because we haven't played all these games, and we
haven't. So we're going to call some out. We're going to talk about the ones we do know, and talk about.
Well, I read up a little bit on some of the others too.
And then and kind of cover that. So the first one is Camel Up. Now, it's not horse themed, but it's definitely racing, and it's definitely kid friendly. So if you have a bunch of kids, got some 7-8-year-olds around for your Derby, this one is a great one to play with them, in the fact that you get to learn about racing, and then there is a little bit of betting involved. So overall, it's a cute little kids game. That's as much as I'm going to give it.
Well, it's ranked 258 on Board Game Geek, and it has 3 to 8 players, so it's definitely one that can include most everybody. It's got betting and bluffing, dice rolling and moving, track movement, and variable setup. So the version we have anyway, you have a pyramid with dice in it that you can drop the dice out of, which is fun. Mm-hmm. So it's a little unique, but it's also not horse racing technically.
So the next game we're going to talk about is Long Shot the Dice game. Yeah. So there is Long Shot the board game. We don't have it, nor have we played it.
But it is on this list further down.
But the dice game we did get to play. Now, last year we got it out. I think it was last year we got it out. We reviewed it. It was a huge hit at my sister's house and some other people. So this one, you roll dice and you kind of have to choose where you're going to place them. Are you going to develop your horse? Are you going to develop your betting? Are you going to develop, get them further down the track, your horses further down the track? So there's a lot of choices that you have to make with the dice. And, if you don't bet, then you're not going to get any money, but you got to get your horse down the lane. Otherwise you're not going to win. So that one actually is a lot of fun. For me, that's actually my number one that we've played out of the 3 that we talk about. I find it the best for a Derby racing game. In fact, that is what I want to be at my table tomorrow.
So the unique thing about this one, first of all, it's got a Board Game Geek rating rank of 331, rating of 7.6, but it is the only one on the list that plays one player. Because it is a roll and write. Most roll and writes you can play by yourself. So it's, for some reason it says it's got a bingo element. I don't remember that at all about the game.
Yeah, there's one section.
Oh, it's one of the sections of the board. Okay.
Of the roll and write section.
All right. Well, it's the only roll and write on the game, on the list. So.
Yeah, it's a goodie. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot. All right, so we do have a review out for that one, I think we do have one for Camel Up as well, right?
I believe so, and we definitely do for the next one.
So the next one, Ready, Set, Bet. Guess what? It's about betting. Bet you didn't know that. Yeah. Given the title. Randy, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Sure. So Ready, Set, Bet was a 2022 release. We got to demo it, and this one is ranked 441 with a rating of 7.5 on Board Game Geek. It plays 2 to 9 players, so it's actually one of the highest player count games, if it's not the highest. It actually is less about the horse racing and more about the betting in this case. So You actually have a roulette style board that you bet different combinations on. You can bet, even number, odd number. You can bet just like basically your traditional roulette. But you have one player who is a caller, so this is the only one that actually has a real-time race in it. So one player is calling and they're rolling the dice as quickly as possible, and they act just like a announcer on the TV or the radio when you're hearing the race. So it's kind of unique in that sense. And it's by John D. Clare, he's designed several of our games that we like. So,
okay, I will admit, if I'm playing that one, I want to be the roller of the dicer because I suck at betting games, like really
well, even
bad.
the roller dicer can bet. They have capability of betting. They don't have to. But
I wouldn't. I would just be calling.
So for the rest of this list, these are games that we found on Board Game Geek. They are not ones that we currently have in our possession. I think I've played one of these at one point in my life. But in general, these are not games that we have a whole lot of knowledge about.
So the first one is Winner Circle from 2021.
No, not 2021. 2001.
Is old.
Yeah. It was originally called Royal Turf, and it's part of the Alea series. So this is actually number 2 in the Alea series.
Oh, interesting.
Its Board Game Geek rank is 1128 and rating of 7.0, 2 to 6 player game, and it's by Randrac and So he's definitely one of the most popular designers out there. And it's a general betting and bluffing and roll and move game. I think there's some variable abilities there, and I think this one, if I remember right, you actually could bet exactas and trifectas in, which is something that you don't typically see in these games.
No, you're absolutely right. Then you have the next one up is Long Shot. It was originally released in 2009, which is different than Long Shot the dice game, which I like. I haven't played this one.
They have a similar style, like the horses are all cards that have different or similar style art. But yeah, it's definitely not the same as the dice game.
Right, which is a roll and write, which is probably why I like it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, number 6 is...
Number 6 is Horse Fever. This is a 2009 release as well. 2634 rank, 6.9 rating. 2 to 6 player game, so this is one that has less players in it. It's actually by Cranial Creations, which is kind of strange.
Oh, interesting.
Auction, bidding, betting and bluffing, and variable player powers in this one.
Okay. All right, so the next one came to us in 1998. We're getting some oldies but goodies at this point.
Didn't come to us. We don't have it.
Well, I mean, It came to the market at that time. And it is called Turf Master.
Yeah, 2778 rank. 7.2 rating, 2 to 8 player game. This is by a company I've never heard of, AZA Spiel. It's a dice rolling hand management with movement cards in this case, and roll and move. So in this game, from what I was reading, you get a deck of 12 cards for your horse, and then you're going to shuffle and get 10 of them to play. And as you play a card, it's removed. So if you do multiple races, you won't have that number again.
So you got to be real careful.
And then there's also a dice movement aspect to it, where you roll 2 dice, and every horse can either move those two dice numbers, or they can move 1 die. The person who rolls decides which way they're going to go. And I'm assuming that kind of like Heat, where if you get too much speed, you could run into problems.
So the next one. This one really is an oldie.
Yeah, this is the oldest on the list.
Yeah, this is before I was born. Before you were born?
Well, yes, it was before I was born.
I'm not sure. It was 1966. Yes. It's called Win, Place, and Show. And it is from Avalon Hill. The
3M, actually, too. 3M is the bookshelf games.
Yeah, and then it was ranking 4,312, rating of 6.7. 3 to 6 players. It has betting and bluffing, dice rolling, roll and move, variable horse abilities, which in my guess is variable player powers.
Well, no, this one actually has, like, some of them are better at the beginning of the race, some of them are, there's a lot more, like,
Focus on the horse.
Focus on the stats of the horse in this, because it's
that's an interesting.
3M always puts a lot into the thinking of the game and tries to make it simulate or emulate whatever they're doing very well. They go into a lot of detail. They're the ones that make all those old army war games with the chits on them, because they go into all the detail about each piece of equipment. It's similar here. They try to do a horse racing game with all the stats.
Well, and maybe that's why it's actually pretty high on the list for being an oldie but a goodie. All right, so number 9 is the really nasty horse racing game.
It's kind of a big jump here. It's got a Board Game Geek rating rank of 6,062 and rating of 6.3. 2 to 6 player game by multiple companies. Winning Moves is the biggest name one I saw. This one's really interesting because it's got this traditional betting and bluffing and roll and move, but you also have cheating in this one. So you can play cards that will sabotage the other horses by making them trip, or they finish the race. You can play they have to take a mandatory drug test.
Woo!
And so there's different ways you can alter the game. So it said, you want it, if you're playing multiple horse racing games and people are sensitive, make sure they're at the winner's circle game table instead of at this game table.
All right, I'm avoiding this one. Okay, next one is Jockey from 1973. Not as quite as old as Randy, maybe.
Nope, not quite.
Not quite. It is a ranking of 8,185 with a score of 6.4. It is, again, 2 to 6 players. It's by
Ravensburger.
Yep, because I can never pronounce that. It's about betting and bluffing, grid movement, and hand management.
So it's another one where you play cards to move the horses.
Yep. All right, what's number 11, Randy?
Number 11 is Grand National. It's kind of a big jump on these because we went from 8,000 and above. Now this one is 16,306, and it's a 7.2 rating, a 2001 release, 2 to 6 player game by Virtual Turf. It's auction movement with handicapping. So this is the only one I saw that had handicapping in it, which was interesting. So as you're playing your movement, the different horses will have different abilities. You have card play on it, and you have obstacles. If you land on certain spaces, it's going to cause you to have different bad effects, but most likely it's like lose a turn or that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm just guessing based on, it's 2001. That's more modern. It may not be.
All right, so number 12 is Across the Board. It's from 1975. Ranked 17,156 with a ranking of 6.6, 3 to 7 players by MPH Games. It's got auction, bidding, betting, bluffing.
It actually has racing forms. This is the only one that has racing forms in it, which I thought was unique.
And dice rolling.
Yeah.
Then the next one, Randy.
This is the last one on our list. It's called Change Horses. It's from 2008. It's a big jump again, 26,953 with a rating of 5.4. My guess is we don't want this one. 2 to 5 player game. It's from Rio Grande Games. It's auction and bidding for movement cards. So at the beginning you're going to play cards and they have 2 sides to them with different horses that you can move. So you're going to bid for those and you get to decide which side you want to play the horse movement for. But the interesting thing on it said, is only horses where there's an odd number of cards of that horse will actually move. So if 2 people play the same horse, it doesn't move.
Unless there's 3.
Unless there's 3, because again, it would be an odd number. So it's hand management, and they have horse changing. So this one lets you cheat in the sense that if your horse falls way behind, you have the ability to swap to a different horse potentially. Now, I don't know how that works, because obviously I would jump to the first place horse, but I don't know if that.
Well, unless it's already taken.
Yeah, I don't know if you can.
So overall, there are plenty of Derby themed games. So if you're having a Derby game night, game day, which we typically actually do, not this year. This year's super weird.
Yeah.
There are plenty of games to play with. I really do hope I get Longshot in this weekend, because I really do enjoy that one. On a side note, I am hosting Longshot at Gen Con.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of my events got approved. So this is little Gen Con.
They did get approved because they're going up tomorrow, or Sunday, I mean.
Yeah, so they're all approved except for Legends of Nirvana game night, and I got to fix that tonight. So, so we've got a couple of different things. This little Gen Con sneak peek, guys. Thanks for staying in for the whole entire thing. So I'm running long shot, awkward guests. Well, actually, Heather's running awkward guests. I'm also doing Hadrian's Wall, so if you have yet to learn that one, that's one of my favorite. Although, now that the Hadrian's Wall upgrade edition is there, I'm kind of sad I didn't put that in.
Anarchy?
Yeah,
because we should have our copy in June.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's August.
I would say we should have it.
So, I am not going to lie, I'm half tempted maybe to put another thing in, because I do love that game. And then, but no, we're definitely doing Hadrian's Wall. So I've got a bunch of roll and writes coming out with Legends of Nirvana, so definitely check out those events, because those are coming, like you said, this weekend. I will
just
say...
a sneak peek. The actual applying for this, I think, is a week or two away.
Okay, so you'll be able to see them, see if you're interested in them. And yeah, so I'm really excited about getting all those pushed through.
Yeah, and we'll put like the event numbers and the links into our like notes.
Hopefully I did it right this time and they're all with Legends of Nirvana tabs.
Yeah, that would be the easiest way. Just search for Legends of Nirvana.
But I promise nothing.
Assuming she did it correctly.
This is why y'all should tell Randy that he should be the one to put in my events. I should give him the dates and times and be like, here you go, babe. You can figure it out. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast tonight. I love sharing something that's really important to us Kentuckiana people, and that is Derby. So don't forget to tell us what game you played this weekend, and is it horse racing themed? All right, guys. Catch you guys later.
Bye.